almost every application I've found, apparently Facebook doesn't. You can actually change their password without doing this. But almost every application in Web 2.0, they force you to re-enter your password before they allow you to change it. So I can't change their password. And I can't sniff their password because that's going over the SSL part. But I don't need their passwords. I don't care about the passwords. I've got their cookie information. So, any questions?
Now, you have the option at Google Mail to make everything go across HTTPS. Will you see anything?
Right. That's a good question. Google Mail has an option that you can configure to go over HTTPS all the time. So that's a good thing. Unfortunately, Google Mail doesn't have enough resources now if everyone started doing that to actually keep up with the load. But that's an option for Google Mail. Hotmail and Yahoo Mail don't have those options, nor do the vast swath of Web 2.0 stuff. Google's actually kind of the leader in Web 2.0, so that's why they probably have the HTTPS option. So if you use Google Mail, turn on the HTTPS options. Question?
What happens to the person who decides to use the account hijack?
Yes, because they're probably on their email right now. And they don't know that I'm there. And this is a big thing, is firewalls can't stop this, antivirus can't stop it, an intrusion detection system that the company is running on their side can't stop this. There's nothing going on that's abnormal. I'm on my own connection. You might be able to write some sort of signature, say, hey, from my own IP address, if I sniff someone else accessing the same cookies as me, maybe you can trigger something. But while I am using in my sample the BlackHat network to do that, I can actually go through my phone. I can go through other networks as well. If I do that, the back-end server might say, hey, I'm getting the same guy for 2 different IP addresses. But most applications actually work that way. They assume that you're on the road with your notebook and also logged on at home at the same time, and they don't want to screw up your sessions. So they allow you to come in from 2 different IP addresses. I have not found a way to do that. In general, there probably isn't a way because, pardon me? Oh, his question was, is there a way to block the other person from accessing their account? In all the applications I've seen, I can't find a way to do that. I can change some of your settings and screw things up. I can add a signature for Google Mail to say, hey, I love sheep, and or something. So you can play with them and toy with them a bit. You can change the color scheme, and you can do all sorts of stuff. So imagine this, they call up Google and say, someone's like broken into either your servers or my machine, and actually you've done neither. And of course you can probably do stuff like do more stuff after that point, like JavaScript, injection, and other stuff to actually break into either the server or their machine. But that's not really the point. Other questions?
Can you force expiration for cookies?
No. Well, yes and no. The cookies that I'm getting from the server in my own proxy, I can reset the expiration, which actually probably be a good feature to keep them longer. But I can't force those cookies to expire on their browser because it was sent by that server to their browser. I'm not really interacting at all with that communication. The question was, I don't know if I repeat it, was whether you can force the cookies to expire. Question in the back. Right. The question was, the comment was pointing out that there's a cookie timeout and a session timeout. So the server sends me and it works both ways, by the way. The server sends me a session ID. That session ID is some piece of information remembered on the server. Even though the cookie says keep repeating that cookie for the next 2 years, the server might say, yeah, but after a week, I'm just going to ignore it. It's an outdated session ID. Oftentimes we're seeing the reverse, is the server sends you a session ID, and the cookie says timeout after a week. But actually that session ID is some special encrypted information that will actually last forever. So even though it's in theory timed out from a cookie perspective, it still works on the server. And that's actually a big thing that happens. A lot of these Web 2.0 applications have a sign-out feature. And what the sign-out feature does when you click on it is it erases the cookies from your browser. And that's how you signed out. But yet, when you replay those cookies anyway in my proxy, they still work. I tried that 5 minutes before this presentation because I thought I forgot I had to do sign out as a protection thing, and it didn't work on Gmail. So I signed out on Gmail, but I was still accessing it on my other system, and it worked just fine. Other questions? It'll still have the cookie, but the session ID will no longer be valid. The session ID is in the cookie. The question is whether it uses a cookie and a session ID embedded in the URL, and the session ID expires. Right. If that session ID becomes invalid, then I can send cookies to my heart's content, and I still not going to be able to access that resource. We have 10 minutes left. Actually, I'm kind of done. A question in the back. Is there anything a user can do to invalidate the cookies that I've stolen? And the answer is I can't find a way. I don't think there is a way. So Dave Maynor is actually kind of paranoid about me because we were in a coffee shop and he had Gmail open and he didn't realize that this Wi-Fi automatically connected. And so I saw all this stuff go by. And so he's paranoid now that I can log on to his Gmail anytime. And you can't change it. By the way, most of these things, you can change your passwords to your heart's content, but it still gives you back the same session IDs and cookies. So that's not a protection mechanism either. So he's just waiting for me to start playing with him in his email. Question in the back. The question is, when you sign out from Gmail, does it reset your cookies? And the answer is yes. It does reset your cookies. It tells your browser, please forget all about those cookies. But those cookies are still valid. I've got those cookies, and they still work. So you can sign out, you can change your password, and I can still often break in. It depends upon from company to company. So Yahoo Mail might be different than Hotmail, might be different than Google Mail. Question? The question is when I'll be adding new postings to our website. I want to fix a couple more bugs like the one you saw when Ferret crashed. I want to fix a couple more bugs, and we'll be posting either today or tomorrow to our website. Probably today. But still, they're kind of irritating to use. So maybe in a couple more weeks I'll have better install programs for it. Yes? Yeah, the question is, can I import PCAP files? Ferret has the ability to import a PCAP file. Just ferret-R in the file. That will then dump the cookies, and then you can use Hamster. So you can go to a router, use your libpcap utilities, and then import them all the way through. So I think we're about done. Thank you very much.